another episode of Seeing Sentai. We're still watching Himitsu Sentai Goranger. We're at episodes 43 to 49. So now that we're past the halfway mark of the series, a lot of things have changed. I mean, not everything has changed. It's still basically the same series you've always known, but of course we have a brand new general in the Black Cross Army. We've got new weapons and new pieces of armory. It's really gotten really cool. First of all, let's go over some of the Mainmast Villains that we saw come out of the Black Cross Army this past week. That includes Diamond Mask, Electricity Mask, Sword Shark Mask, Locomotive Mask, Bird Talon Mask, Camera Mask, and Hornbone Mask. As far as the monsters are concerned, not too many of them were too terribly weird. Camera Mask, for example, had a whole camera for a face. He looks like a camera, and his weapon was a flash lamp that made things explode. Weird but cool. Locomotive Mask had an entire locomotive train engine for a head, and he ran around like this, chug 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 choo choo, and his power was just running around really fast. Really, there's only a few more tonal changes I really wanted to discuss. Of course, in the last episode of my vlog that I did, I discussed right there at episode 42 where General Temjin died, and of course we moved on to now General Magman being the big major general who's sending out tons of masked monsters. Because of him, he now has this moving fortress that goes from place to place. It buries underground and then pops up in some other place, and it fires on the Gorangers or on different places in Tokyo or different Eagle headquarters. And so now the Gorangers have the Varadrine, the new flying ship, and the Bari Tank, which is a tank that rolls out of the Varadrine. And of course we talked about this last episode, but now we can start to see what kind of features each of these things have. The Varadrine doesn't have anything too remotely brand new and shocking and surprising. It still just looks cool. The Bari Tank, we have now seen some of the things that it can do. It can go underwater like a submarine, for example. It can drill underground. It has big old arms that can grab things and pull the tank all the way up onto really high locations. It's kind of goofy, but at the same time, who wouldn't want to drive a multi-purpose vehicle like that? You might also remember back in episode 42, the restaurant Snack Gone got completely and utterly demolished. Well, now Snack Gone has been completely repurposed and has reopened, and now it is Fruit Parfait Gone. And it's a restaurant that mostly specializes in serving fruit parfaits. However, of course, for the sake of Daita, they continue to serve him rice and curry, and they're feeding his stereotype continuously. Still makes me a little sad. But the restaurant looks much bigger and much nicer now. I kind of wish I could visit a place like that, in fact. Otherwise, not terribly too much else. There was an episode that took place in a theme park called Yokohama Dreamland, which they might have visited that place before. They did visit another theme park that existed, although I think it might have been in a different location. Now, Yokohama Dreamland, I just thought it was really cool to mention because it was a theme park that actually did in fact exist. However, it no longer exists now and closed down back in 2002. Real shame, because I actually would have visited it. But the location, of course, is still there in Yokohama. It's just that it's become kind of an educational place, to the best of my understanding. Where this hotel used to be, you can see some shots of the hotel. Where the hotel used to be, it's now become something of a school with a whole bunch of classrooms in it. And so, yeah, no more amusement park there. That's too bad. It's actually looking like Magman is not nearly going to have the long run that General Temjin had. So I think next week we're going to start to see yet another general pop up to replace Magman, who doesn't seem to be getting his job done or anything. Finally, I think one last thing I'll comment on, and I'll just kind of end the vlog here, is that it kind of feels like now that we have hit mid-season and onward, I'm kind of wondering what the ratings were looking like for this show around this time, because it feels like the ending of the fights for each episode. You know, every episode always had Goranger Storm. Well, now it's upgraded to Goranger Hurricane. And Goranger Hurricane is now them turning the ball kind of into a football, and they all kind of play football together and pass the ball back and forth to each other like they're friggin' in The Room, the movie The Room, with Tommy Wiseau passing a football back and forth to each other. And then the enemies of the Black Cross Army actually play friggin' defense, like they play along and they play football with the Go Rangers, and then the Go Ranger ball will turn into something weird, like for Camera Mask. The football turns into a lens cap and attaches itself to Camera Mask's face, and then it blows up. But aside from that, it feels like the fights have gotten comical, really comical. Not all the fights. Throughout the episode, of course, there's always a little bit of fighting, and those fights aren't terribly comical, but the end fights of the episode seem increasingly comical. For example, Yellow's pole weapon that he has now upgraded and received can turn into lots of different things. It turns into a little club, or it turns into a set of hands that transform between rock, paper, and scissors. And when he's playing with his enemy doesn't play John Kenpo and rock, paper, scissors along with him. He just has, like, a hand like this, and a hand like this, and a hand like this. And sometimes when he's hitting enemies with it, it makes xylophone noises now. And now, like, Pink will throw a bomb, and then Yellow will accidentally get in the way, and then she has to apologize for nearly killing him. Like, it gets really comical like that now. And I'm wondering if there is this tonal shift because something happened in the ratings. Like, I would really like to see and know more about what was going on in 1976 when it was airing at the time. I'd be really interested in learning about that, because I feel like typically you don't get a tonal shift like that unless ratings tell us, oh, we need to do something differently. And it's not like it's bad. Of course it's a children's TV show, but it's just kind of telling me, something different is going on here. Otherwise, one last thing that's different, actually, new intro footage, new closing credits footage, and the way the announcer delivers the information for the next week's episode is now also different. So those are just the overall changes to what the series has become at this point in the game. Past that, nothing especially new to report. Looking forward to watching yet another week's worth of episodes, and I'm looking forward to you guys following right along with me. And of course, you can continue to follow along with me over on my Tumblr, and that's marsgirl.tumblr.com. To you Patreon contributors, thank you very much for continuing to help to make this and other episodes possible. If you are at all interested in becoming a Patreon, getting your name in the credits, or getting something that you do and you want advertised in credits with me, if you'd like for me to give you a shout out or to do a special review for you, I will do it. Check it out at patreon.com/marsgirl and we'll get you set up. Thank you very much, guys. Be seeing you next week.